Wendy Buffrey went from being a respected sub-postmaster in Cheltenham to being spat at in the street, the victim of a faulty IT system which made it look like she was stealing from the post office.
I was accused of stealing over £26,000.
She had no idea hundreds of others were also being wrongly accused of fraud by auditors from the post office.
I said it must be something wrong with the computers, and they said no, this hasn't ever happened to anybody else. This has only happened to you, therefore it must be something you've done. What have you done with it?
You didn't know you were the only one when you pleaded guilty?
Oh, well I pled not guilty right the way through to the day before I went into court, and my barrister said to me, you will go to prison if you plead not guilty to this. You'll never win against the post office. You'll never win.
How long were you looking at, do you think?
She said 3 to 5 years. I was terrified of going to jail. I can honestly say if I'd have gone to jail, I wouldn't have come out again.
And how hard was it to stand up in court and admit something that you hadn't done?
It's the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. It really was.
She avoided prison, but not the shame. She waited 13 years for her conviction to be overturned. Some didn't live to see their names cleared.
Being wrongfully convicted destroyed not just Wendy's business, but her health and her reputation. Now the inquiry into the post office scandal is calling for action to speed up the schemes supposed to offer sub-postmasters full and fair compensation.
The inquiry's chair said the different schemes run by the government and the post office are too slow and full of holes.
I have reached the conclusion that it is now appropriate for me to make recommendations to the Minister which have the specific aim of ensuring that the applicants to each scheme are treated fairly and consistently across all schemes.
One recommendation is to make payments after what he described as an artificial deadline of next year. The post office says altogether it's offered victims more than £120 million, and where cases haven't been resolved, it makes interim payments.
I did have one man spit at me in the street.
Wendy, who gave evidence to the inquiry, is still waiting for full compensation.
And you're still not putting it right. And they're fighting every single moment of it not to pay us what we rightfully deserve for having our lives absolutely crushed by them.
The post office gave Chief Executive Nick Reed and others bonus payments simply for cooperating with the public inquiry. He returned that part of his bonus with an apology. The government said it would respond to today's report that it's vital to learn the lessons from the post office scandal, so nothing like it can ever happen again. The victims want to know how it ever happened in the first place.